What a wild ride it's been. You know, I went to work for Xerox out of college. I wasn't planning on being a teacher. Both my parents were teachers. My mother was probably one of the best teachers I've ever seen, and for those of you who are on Facebook, she passed away 12 years ago yesterday, just before I got elected to the CTA board. And one of the things that always amazes me is every time I post something about her, how many of her students post about what a great teacher she was. And she taught me so much. You know, I was really blessed because I was adopted, and I couldn't have asked for a better set of parents. Many of you have met my dad. He's 92. He golfs once a week with the old guys who are all younger than he is. But he's the one that actually taught me about unionism. He's a musician. He was a conductor of the High Desert Symphony and the associate conductor for the Claremont Symphony for years. And when Vegas started moving away from live musicians, my mother liked to gamble, so we were there a lot. We stopped going to shows at any hotel that stopped having live musicians because he supported the musicians' unions. And it's really, I learned a lot from that as we went through. And I'm like, well, why can't we go there anymore? And he's like, recorded music. So I still find it interesting, and I still find it, I have a hard time going to shows where the music is not being provided by an orchestra. But they taught me a lot about who I was to become. And when I decided to become a teacher sort of by accident, I was hit by a semi and then decided I didn't want to be on the road anymore. That's irony, isn't it? So I thought I'd go into teaching. But that's a true story. I was driving from San Diego up to an appointment in Riverside and got caught in the 15 of the fog by Scott Road, and yeah, that was an experience. I don't recommend it. And so, you know, I ended up going into teaching just by accident, and I fell in love with it. And I really learned about, you know, what my parents' passion with education was. Although I have to say one of my highlights was when I came home from teaching first grade and I sat on the couch and fell asleep, and my mom was like, I teach high school. I got 200 kids. How hard could it be to have little first graders? She retired, and I started union work, and she subbed for me one day, and I came home, and guess what she was doing on the couch? My principal happened to be my godmother. My godmother was my principal at the time, and she laughed the next day when I came in, and she said, "Oh my God, they ate her alive." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like one of the strongest teachers I know. She's like, she was afraid to yell at them. She got better. So I just found out that it was really fabulous. And some of you heard me tell the story about like my second or third year of teaching. I became a site rep my first year of teaching, and Jim Clark, where are you? I think you're here. He was the PCS at my first rep council in that first year when I got volunteered to be the site rep. And he saw something in me that encouraged me to go on. And in my second or third year, the superintendent at the time sent this back to school letter in which he talked about the difficulty in finding potential in our students. Now, I work in San Bernardino, which can be a challenging environment at times. I grew up in San Bernardino. I went to San Bernardino city schools. And I don't know whether I was gutsy or stupid, but I sent a letter back to him. And one of the things that I told him is that I didn't know about him, but I never have trouble finding potential in my students. That the challenge was sometimes in getting them to actually use that potential. He never sent another back-to-school letter again. Several years later, because I believe that if you're not good for kids, you shouldn't be with kids, I helped get him fired. I have no regrets. I have had an incredible career with the union. It's allowed me to advocate for students, for members. It's allowed me to meet and work with some incredible people and make real change. my fingerprints are on stuff most of you probably don't even, being here since 1992, I've been here longer than Dean. It is. He wasn't on Rep Council yet. But Ron Edwards and Curtis Washington were. I've had these incredible opportunities. We had the San Bernardino Coalition out of the Prop 174 campaign. That was actually the first campaign I worked on, was the voucher campaign. And we created this coalition afterwards with the county superintendent, and Barbara Kerr was part of it then. She was the CTA board member, and Tony Leone was the staff person. And we decided that we really wanted to take advantage of the profession. So it was out of our coalition, and I actually have one of the original books where we were editing and trying to figure out what I can do it, the new teacher workshop, classroom management workshop would look like. It was Tony Leone and Barry Pulliam and I that sat around trying to figure out, you know what, we're spending too much on dismissals. What if we can save teachers, and came up with the idea for Survive and Thrive that we still use today. And so there's got to be different and better ways. And so I'm proud of the legacy that I have. I need to say some thank yous. I know I'm going on long, but it's my almost next to last. I still got some announcements. Time at the mic, so I'm going to take advantage. But there are some really special people that have really helped me along the way, and I know I'm going to forget so many people out there, but just know that I love and appreciate you all. One of the first people that I want to talk about is actually two people that kind of go together, and that's Roy Johnson and Joel Knox. Now, Roy Johnson was the CTA board member for District D, and Joel introduced me to him way back when we were kissing moose in Alaska. And that was where the NEA Pacific Regional Conference happened to be that year when I went. And, he was one of the first people that said to me, this is a really good gig. Have you really thought about what else you want to do in this organization? I want to thank Darlene Naslund, who's here. She was my first CTAmatch.com roommate. And I got lucky, I must admit. I got lucky. She's also going off council today, so it's an honor that, we got to work together on Cal Challenge and be roommates together, and that we're going off council together, and I really appreciate that. To Sandy Thornton, without whom I would not be here today. I had one of those blocker presidents, and she found ways around it to get me involved and to keep me involved and to make sure that I didn't give up. And I would be remiss to not thank the two Loises, Lois Tinson and Lois Hale, who told me that I might want to buy something other than shorts and blue jeans. So you'll notice I'm wearing red denim today, just for them. Dean, working with you has been an incredible honor. What you've given to me and to my daughter, the music you've shared in our lives, in both literally and figuratively, you've been an amazing, amazing president, and I've been honored to be your Secretary-Treasurer and work by your side. Eric, my husband. While we'll be living apart, it's not a divorce. I will miss your footsteps in the morning. I won't know when I'm late for work when your shower goes on. But I'll still cook you dinner if you want to come out, and spaghetti anytime, because I can still hold Lucky hostage. We have his dog. I love you both. It's been an amazing team, and we've done amazing things this last 4 years. And I'm just so proud to have been able to go through this experience with you two. You guys are the best. To the CTA board, we have some good times in those meetings. They can be kind of crazy, but you're wonderful, and I love you. To my director, Jose, you'll still be my director, but now I can say I need things. To Patty Taylor and Rebecca Harper, I told you guys last time, Patty Taylor and I have been together since we started since I started teaching. She's been next door, and now I'm going to be in the same office with those two. But thank you, Rebecca, for being willing to do what it takes to make sure I could come back, and to SBTA for being the best damn local out there. You guys are amazing. Now, I told you when I was doing, I'm almost done. I told you when I was doing my report that I was going to talk about these guys later. Carlos and my boys, Way, Steve, David, Scott. You give me the best hour of every month when we meet. People could never understand the depth of our conversation or the joy that we had in working together. You guys have an amazing team in the controller's office and the business office. And they're just such a blessing to CTA. David, you're lucky because you have the best group in the whole entire nation. And Carlos is just one of the most amazing men I've ever met in my entire life. I love you, man. And last but not least, my family. My husband, Dave, who's at a softball tournament that we were supposed to play in today. I told him it was the last thing I was going to miss. And my stepdaughter, Missy, who's getting married on Friday. And stepson, Chris, who've been patient and not quite understanding coming late into the game why I'm always so busy that I can't be there for stuff. But there's one other person who's in this room somewhere who's been on council longer than most of you. She came to her first council in October of 1998. And that is my daughter, Olivia. My baby has given her entire life to this organization. She's been at every state council. She's been at every rally. She's spoken whenever we've needed her to speak. Sometime if you have it, go to YouTube and see Olivia speaks on California budget cuts. She was a fourth grader and showed Jack O'Connell up. Baby, I'm very, very proud of you, and I'm glad that I'm going to be home for your senior year. I know you're going to do amazing things. She's been asked to be part of a Harvard social justice advocacy program. And I just know that her CTA experience has made her the child that she is. Anyways, I just want to say thank you all. And as I ended my speech at the last time, don't back up, don't back down, full throttle, wide open. It's the only way I know. Let's go, and thank you.